7, identification of skin types. What are some suggestions for some coaching discussions for skin that's too dry? If your client has told you that their skin sometimes feels tight or tingly, their skincare products might be too overpowering for their skin, leading to the skin being stripped of protective and hydrating sebum or natural skin oils. In addition, when the client tells you that their skin is stripped of natural oils, or you see it, this might result in an increase in sensitivity too. This might be caused by over-exfoliation, or it could be an active ingredient that's making their skin sensitive, like retinol or salicylic acid. These can all cause adverse reactions to dry skin. Other causes could be they could actually be overstripping the skin with drying alcohol or toners, doing too much cleansing, taking in too much sun or wind or cooling or heat exposure. If you're experiencing any of these or see any of these with your clients, you have to look at all the products that they're using, the individual ingredients, the frequency that they're using them in, and then determine if they're using them as recommended and whether they're the best actual products for the client. What about dry, normal combination skin types? Well, dry combination skin is characterized by dry cheeks, the side of the face, the forehead, or the chin, and an oily T-zone, a chin, or a nasal area. Most of your sebaceous glands are located in the T-zone. This is essentially meaning that your T-zone produces more sebum than the rest of your face. And in a combination skin type, there are areas that are drier and some that are normal. The best suggestions for combination skin types are targeted serums and targeted moisturizing. For example, facial oils added to the daily moisturizer to supplement the drier areas of face, using glycolic acid in the T-zone and foregoing the drier areas, and using retinol or vitamin C serums more frequently in the T-zone or the oilier areas and less in the dry areas might be just the ticket. Now, what about T-zone combination oilier skin? If you have normal to oily combination skin type, that means that a product might work for you in your T-zone, but it might prove to be a troublemaker when applied to the rest of your face. You're essentially treating two different types when you have a combination skin. This is normal to oily skin type, and it's most often one that's most difficult to address, unfortunately. The client might be overstripping the whole face in an effort to get to the oiliness of the T-zone and have that become under control. As you can imagine, this is not a great strategy. So be wary of what recommendations you make to your client to apply to different areas of their face with this particular skin type. You have to map out the face and really take the time to analyze and make sure your client is diligent about the segmentation and treatment of the areas of their face: T-zone, nose, chin area, cheeks, and side of face. It's best to monitor new product suggestions as the client starts using them, and to carefully explain and write down what areas each product is targeting and why they should apply it just so. What about oily skin type? One of the misconceptions that clients might have when they have oily skin is that they can't or shouldn't use a moisturizer. They'll often say, when asked, that they don't want to add a moisturizer on top of their oily skin to make their skin look even slicker. But oftentimes, if your client has oily skin, they have this condition because they haven't been using the correct serum or moisturizer to help regulate their sebum production. The primary cause of their oiliness might just be because they're dehydrating their skin and might be increasing sebum production and artificially manufacturing too much sebum for the underlying type of skin the client would have if their skin was balanced. The words that you would use in a coaching assignment for a client might sound like this: if you add a proper and recommended type of moisturizer or serum to your skincare regime, it might actually train your skin to produce less sebum. Often, when this skin is too dry, it compensates by excessively producing oils. When we hydrate and add hydration, your skin will, in fact, cut back on sebum production. There will most likely be a period of adjustment, which we'll have to monitor, because this no longer has to have a compensation effect for lack of moisture on your skin. Now let's talk about mature skin types. Skin maturing could happen anytime after 25, but it really depends on your client's unique genetics and how they've looked after their skin and environmental factors. Some people could start seeing the maturing of their skin as young as 25, while others are lucky in their genetic makeup and prudent about how they treat their skin, and they might not see it really affect until they're 30, 40, or older. Rather looking to your client's actual age as the defining factor, we can define mature skin as the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, loose skin, the wrinkling in the neck and the eyelids, and the loss of volume in the soft tissue of the face, leading to jowling and the nasoblatal folds, also known as laugh lines. Maturing in the skin happens when changes in the body make it more challenging for the skin to retain its youthful glow. It can be a result of aging, when the collagen and sebum production actually slows down. You're much more at risk for dehydration, which can affect the skin's appearance when your skin is aging. Hyperpigmentation or dark spots can also manifest in maturing skin. The next section is really important because it has to do with melanin production and skin cancer assessment. It's called the Fitzpatrick Scale and Melanin Production Chart. Developed in 1975, the Fitzpatrick Scale was designed as a scientific method to conduct skin type classification in terms of its reaction to UV rays and the amount of pigment in your client's skin. The goal of this information as it relates to skincare coaching is that it can help your clients predict their overall risk of sun damage and skin cancer. Once your client is aware of their risk level, you can arm yourself with the tools that they need to protect their skin. A person's Fitzpatrick skin type or phototype determines the amount of melanin pigment in the skin in a band of 6 types. Melanin is a type of pigment that provides color to the hair and the eyes. The primary function of melanin is to absorb harmful UV rays. In this way, melanin can provide some of the skin protection from cellular damage. You already know that when you go out in the sun, your skin begins to tan and darken. This is an important aspect of melanin. Most people think that a tan looks healthy, but tanning can be extremely dangerous when you understand how harmful UV rays from the sun are that penetrate through the skin and damage the DNA in the skin cells. And that happens just about immediately. If you remember for school lessons, DNA in our cells is the building blocks that keep our skin cells healthy and functioning properly. So how do you use the Fitzpatrick skin type classification for assessment? The Fitzpatrick skin type classification is determined by the constitutional color, white, brown, or black skin, including the effect to sun exposure and ultraviolet radiation, which is tanning. The scale is based on the premise of this, that pale or white skin burns easily and tans slowly and a bit more poorly. Therefore, it necessitates more protection against sun exposure. Darker skin, on the other hand, burns less and tans more easily, and it's also more susceptible to developing post-inflammation injuries like brown spots. As we look at the Fitzpatrick scale and its 6 skin types, what are the different skin types? As a skincare coach, the classification scale is a bit subjective. Most people will fit into a specific category. However, some clients won't meet all or any of the characteristics that put them in one scale. So you should go with the one that best describes that client, not the ideal one. It's best to err on the side of caution and categorize them numerically lower when there's doubt about which category to put them in. It's best to familiarize yourself with the scale and keep one on hand for every coaching assignment.